Get in there. Come on, move up, move down the bus.
It's the only way I'm going to get along.
Can anyone sit on the table, Lisa? Lisa, fill those candles out. A couple of people can sit on the table. Andy,
Move down the bus, move down the bus. Oh, actually, you're move back the bus.
I'll set some up and sit on the table.
Yeah.
Clearly I've not, but I just haven't.
We're doing this together.
We're doing the dance.
Right.
I'm feeling incredibly
Just 1 second, mate.
Come on, guys, fill up. Let's get this over and done with.
Can you all move forward, please?
We can't, there's a
There's room in the aisles. Have you got your tickets?
there's another seat here.
All the OLPs, move forward.
Come on, guys, you can all scooch up together. Let's get a bit closer.
There's an arm here.
OAPs, Dave, that includes you.
I've got my bus pass.
Get in there, lads.
I can't kneel with my knees.
There's room on the floor.
Who's sitting on Dad's name? It's his 60th
Right,
birthday.
so to entertain this lot.
I'm fine here. I'm fine here.
You're taking too much room up, Mike. I know it's your birthday.
The house is now full.
Is that everyone? Where's Val?
Yes.
Can you all hear?
Wait for Val.
We're losing
We
people.
will do one for you.
I'm doing it.
Can you speak up, please, do it?
No, 12 o'clock. Only 6 o'clock. Sorry.
And now the occasion begins.
Go, Lisa, go. Shut up.
Order.
Can you take a picture of all the people?
I will.
Go!
Order.
Action!
Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, we're all here for Mike Lee's 60th birthday as well.
Thanks, everybody.
You don't look a day over 80.
That's so true.
So today I've actually got a speech prepared. But I don't know why I decided to do this, but I'm actually going to be delivering the speech through the medium of verse. So I've written a poem. I thought it would be quite easy, like rhyming some words together, slap, bang, whatever. It turns out people actually, there's a reason people make a big deal out of poems and stuff like that. Although I know Tom revising for his GCSEs isn't quite thinking so. I've tried my best. Guys, this is supposed to be funny, okay? It's supposed to be funny.
We'll laugh then, Lisa. We'll laugh.
Few laughs.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll start.
Please.
Today we gather to celebrate 60 years of Mike Lee, a son, great uncle and dad. A man who I think we can all here agree has at times been a bit of a lad. So as his most thoughtful, kind and only daughter, thoughts have been flying in my head on how to pay tribute, give thanks like I oughta. But I'm just going to take the mick instead. So I'll dive right on in without further delay, most of all while I've still got the nerve, and share with you all round the room here today something that, as of late, I've observed. Ooh. We all know very well Dad's so unique style. Check shirt, set of whiskers, forehead ruddy. But have we all been thinking the same thing for a while? He looks massively just like Bill Oddie.
Maybe a while ago.
But going back years before Dad's hair started shedding, winning badminton he did have his share. But his most impressive sport was at the caravan treading. Knee-deep, freezing water, in only underwear. No guys, not many of you don't know what treading is. That was just a joke for the ones who do.
Yeah.
A couple at the front. So let's just move on.
Underwear though.
But enough, we all know of his physical prowess. It's once or twice given us all quite a start. So I turn now instead to something really quite boundless.
Oh.
To matters exclusively of the heart.
Ooh. What's he gonna say?
Now, Dad's actually very lucky, having 2 lovers in his life.
2.
Though we've thought his obsession might kill him. I'm not talking about a woman or potential new wife. I of course mean Neil Young and Bob Dylan.
You can rely on them.
Yes, that's right, Dad loves himself some folk. Even now he plays in the orchestra with Barry. But not just one genre is enough for this bloke, like it'd be for any other Tom, Dick or Harry. When I was a child, Dad sang sweetly Golden Slumbers at bedtime. A lullaby that would send me into a snooze. So as a teenager, it came as quite a big shock of mine when I found he knew all of the words to Black Sabbath, not just folk music or blues. And I'm not sure if anyone knows, but Dad really likes guitars.
No.
He played it so much that at 4 on video I said no. And at 16 I told him to shove it up his
I can assure you I didn't.
But he doesn't just play, he writes lots of songs too. Like his classic about the Irish potato famine.
Easy.
A song that told the tale of hardship, raw and true, of thousands dying in a land cold and barren. Now I asked Dad one day, why that subject, why you? Quite a random one to sing about is this. He replied, straight-faced, somberly, and oh so true. I can relate, I got blight down the allotment, awful business. But enough about music, let's turn now instead to another hobby that Dad loves quite dearly. Similar to treading, but more publicly accepted. On occasion, it's gone wrong severely. I'm talking about fishing, a real passion of Dad's. In the traditional sense, rod, hook and line. And together over the years, we've surely had a hilarious and unsuccessful time. There's in particular one word that comes to my head when thinking of fishing with Mike. One word indeed that fills us both up with dread. And that word, as you know, Dad, is pike. When I was very young, Dad took me to the canal to go fishing for pike, which was teeming. And it all went wrong when he showed me a pick, teeth and all. I ran up and down the bank, stamping and screaming. You see, I was trying to scare away the monster, whose appearance had given me quite a fright. Looking back, though, I knew that we needn't have bothered. We'd do 100 trips without even a bite. When I was a teen, Dad took me to a lake. Notoriously banterman to fisherman. But of course we caught nothing, for goodness sake. It just wasn't part of the game plan. So hours on end we sat in our rowing boat before deciding to try the other side. And in doing so was born another anecdote when rowing across the lake oh so wide. Oars in hand, Dad started to row. But straight away he started panting and sweating. When arrived, Dad was wheezing, exhausted, a sweaty glow. Redder and redder and redder he was getting. We both couldn't believe how unfit this man was to struggle so much with this row. But at that moment we realised the cause. He'd left the anchor down on the bed below.
Great big block of concrete.
We did laugh.
Lovely impression.
But faux pas don't just happen when I'm around.
No.
Oh no! Introducing Dad's friend Steve. Very serious fisherman. His technique is quite sound. No time for mishaps, please believe. One day, Dad asked if he could have a go on Steve's pole. No, that's not an innuendo.
Fancy thinking we think.
13 metres long.
One minute in, Dad's blood began to run cold. He'd snapped the expensive pole straight in two.
Which is just what you're supposed to do.
What is it you're supposed to do?
Excuse me, mate. No interruptions, please.
Mortified.
Who believes this expensive pole just went?
No.
No.
But Dad doesn't just play, he's worked very hard through his colourful and widely varied career. He's been a photographer, gardener and muffin man too. But the best's got to be supply teacher. As a teacher, Dad's been brilliant at making his mark. Let's take E.G. at one school his first day aboard. He entered the classroom, wrote his name in giant letters all black, in permanent marker on the interactive white.
That made you popular.
The whispering went round the room and I said, shh, be quiet. What's the big deal? Mr. Lee, we don't use that marker on that wall. So I went, don't you worry, it'll be fine.
It's his name as well, he couldn't even deny it was him.
Who put that there?
That's why I love you.
So I came in late and somebody told me.
On his first day at another school, he was particularly peckish.
Oh, God.
When he entered in the morning for a new teaching sesh. So it seemed he'd been really granted a wish when he found a packet of crisps in a drawer in a desk. The perfect crime, thought Dad as he munched with great joy. I can replace before teacher returns, it'll be fine. So it came as quite a shock when a little boy asked for his diabetic crisps at
Embellished somewhat, that story. I contend that I never actually
He's still alive.
Yeah. In the hospital.
And then there was the time he accused a fellow teacher
head teacher.
of, would you believe it, stealing his tie.
Went to school.
Only to find his actual tie with distinctive features in the downstairs cupboard after several months had gone by. Teaching certainly can be very tiring. Dad discovered one hazy afternoon. Independent reading period he was supervising. But with eyelids heavy, he was going to have to sleep soon. You see, at lunch, Dad had eaten some marmalade sandwiches.
Ooh.
A detail he never omits when retelling this tale. It was warm, he was full, to sleep was his one wish. So he came up with a plan that couldn't fail.
Tension.
Tensions. He held his book high so it covered his face, pretending to study it with eager intent. And then he did something of utter disgrace. There and then, in the class, off to sleep he went.
All micro nut.
But as soon as he'd fallen into a light snooze, he was awoken and completely shut down by a young girl from the class who delivered some news. Mr. Lee, you're holding your book upside down.
We've all done it.
Regularly.
And of course, as we know, Dad is partially deaf.
Pardon?
What?
A condition that's never held him back one bit. His hearing aids have really enhanced his life. But sometimes they've made him a bit of a twit. For the aids are tiny microphones, in fact, helping magnify the words we speak. But just like mics, they produce feedback, making the insides of his ears sometimes comically squeak. Back to school, we all know what kids are like with a rumour. Spreading around the class whilst the gossip is hot. One particular story Dad heard with much rumour. His ears squeaked because he's a real-life robot. Now, I couldn't talk about Dad without mentioning his friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Couldn't talk about Dad without mentioning his friends. The Liverpool lot, as they're commonly known. Memories-wise, there are some absolute gems, because they're pranksters at heart, they have shown.
Dave.
McMoney's.
You know who you are.
Dennis.
Let's begin at the youth hostel, a long-standing tradition that's been going for years, even decades, where out of the window seemingly goes any inhibition, at night resounding with drunken serenades.
Ooh.
One day we went hiking, kids and adults alike, through miles of fields and hills. But Dave Mack had a different idea for Mike. Something to gain them fiendish thrills.
That's what it's all about. I knew it.
Dad had a tendency to take wherever he went a backpack unnecessarily large. So Big Dave capitalised on this event. With accomplices, Jeppo, Kevin, Jim and co.
Jeppo had nothing to do
Oh,
with
you had nothing to do with it. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And if I was there, I didn't do it.
One by one, the adults approached the oblivious man and asked to put their kids' lightweight clothes in his bag.
shame.
I know.
And so the process quickly began. And just as quickly, Dad began to lag. Miles and miles went by, Dad was sweaty and red, while the rest had a spring in their step. Whilst everyone else was powering ahead, Dad was a panting wreck.
Nicely put, darling. Nice.
Because it seems the hundreds of coats and socks that were placed in the backpack along the way were accompanied each with gigantic rocks in a demonstration of iconic horseplay.
Fingers pointed.
I may be guilty, but society is to blame.
Another time, Dad was in a deep sleep on the sofa. From all the fun and games, he was obviously tired. But his pals had just the way to cure his hangover. Tying his shoelaces together, playing a tray of glasses on his chest and shouting, "Fire!"
Let's go to all that trouble for me.
Behaviour.
Is that you again, Dave?
Yeah.
Who else?
But these things don't just happen at the youth hostel. Dad's been punked all over the country. For
Oh,
example,
it's
on
true,
one
though, you can't
occasion,
deny it.
this story's gospel. It was just Kevin Lynn and he. On said occasion, they were climbing a mountain, quite treacherous and steep and high. But if there's one thing in this world that has no doubting, it's that Dad's fear of heights is no lie. So once they got to the very top of the climb, on the sheer edge they stood and looked down. But Kev, instead of being supportive during this time, told a story he'd heard whilst in town. Two men had gone walking on this very mountain high. At the top, something happened quite rotten. At this point, Kevin, as he spoke, stared Dad straight in the eye. One snapped and pushed the other over the edge.
We were having lunch. Overlooking the edge, and Kevin said, "You're enjoying it." Enjoying the view. And I thought, well, apart from the paralysing sense of fear,
Are you enjoying the view? Would you like to be in it?
That's my boy.
Another thing I think we would all agree, from the years of knowing Dad like we do, is that he really likes nature. Yes, sirree. Be it owl, beetle, or shrew. I remember well an obsession of his. In the noughties, it was his main concern. Dad couldn't go a day without, the truth is, mentioning or photographing ferns.
Oh.
You remember. And such a friend of nature was Dad. When our pantry acquired a rodent chap, that not even a single thought would be had of using anything but a humane mousetrap.
No.
So Dad caught the mouse and all was well. The plan was set for success. He'd drive him to the woods and say farewell. But not that far did it ever progress. As a keen photographer, Dad couldn't miss the chance to take a picture of his newest friend. But when he opened the trap to get a better glance, it hopped into the car as quick as the wind. Days went by and it became obvious that he'd made this car a home. As he left around with cockiness, little treats where he did roam.
I had seed potatoes in the car, and then little teeth marks were appearing.
Cue Jim Taylor, who spotted an opportunity to cause a bit of mischief straight away. So he called Dad anonymously in the guise of the RSPCA. I've had a report, the stern voice bellowed, as yet again Dad's blown rad cold. That you've been mistreating a mouse, my fellow. And with that, Mike had been told. Caught in the act, Dad started to stutter. Never one to break the rules. But Jim couldn't hold it in, he started to splutter, breaking down in laughter. Oh, Mike, you fool.
I bet.
I said, I thought something might not be quite right. I said, is this some kind of joke? And the voice at the other end said, no, it is not some kind of joke. We take this kind of thing very seriously.
You say it's murder! Is that what came in away?
But underneath all the fun and mockery, all the times they've made Dad suffer,
The bastards!
it's very
I'm gonna get them all
We've done our best.
all the times they've made Dad suffer. It's very touching for us to see. They really do love each other.
But not Mike Lee.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's faced on me list, don't worry, mate.
You get him for me. You go in.
That's why he's worrying.
His leg just dropped off.
Yes, as the wise Kevin Lynn would say, despite each one's separate baggage, You take the good with the bad and stay, because your mates come as a package.
Oh, very good, bravo.
And at times, Dad's friends have stepped up indeed, have shown they're very wise, and in his greatest moments of need, they've offered some sound advice. E.g. on our lads' walking hall, please visualise. Dad drove them all to Whitby. Dave Mack, trusted confidant, advised. He hadn't thought of taking his driving test, had he?
Circumstances were. Dave Mack was on the front seat with Jim sitting on his knee. And it was
nothing unusual.
And it was a cobbled street and they were getting rather giggly, I have to say.
And you kept on stalling it. Have you ever thought of putting in for your test, mate?
No.
I'll leave you all with a final rhyme that sums them up in one. A tale that comes from a special time when Dad hadn't known them for very long.
No.
Our dear friend Tommy was a copper by trade, protecting the streets from crime. Even so, some naughty decisions he's made, even if it's only from time to time. Dad entered a party at Dave and Val's and received a warm welcome. In fact, he even received from one of his pals a substance to enjoy when the time did come.
With a scrap of silver paper. Dave Mack himself.
Your supplier, as he's known.
It was only an oxo tube in silver paper.
Oh, aye.
You're on it.
Little did Dad know, however, it was a ground oxo cube, kind of pressing. And all the lads had planned to be very clever and have Tommy turn up to arrest him for possession.
It's what you do for your mates.
Dave Mack, you're a shit.
You didn't need this poem to find out.
No, I didn't.
You know where the front door is, don't you?
So to wrap up, Dad, you have from me today a wholehearted thank you for providing me along the way with 60 years of golden material.
Bravo! Oh.
For all your eccentricities, have made it so easy to take the mick effortlessly. Your daughter, Lisa Lee.
Can I just say something? Dave, you can leave now.
I'm going to phone my lawyer.
Fair play.
Order!
I suppose I better say thank you.
That was brilliant. She's to my funeral, Lisa. Mark me down. I'm going to die about 100.
I'll start writing now then.
2 years' time.
Right. I didn't have anything prepared to say, but I do feel I'd like to say a few words. It is true, when I first started coming to Liverpool, I think the phrase Dave would use was that I was somewhat of an ingenue.
What's an ingenue?
Yeah, he'd never used that phrase.
A bit of a pillock, I think.
Yeah, that might be it.
You're a woolly back.
Yeah. But some of you may know also, just before I started regularly coming to Liverpool and meeting the people who would go on to become my very close friends, my stock was never at its highest than before they'd met me, because I'd spent an evening on a birthday party of Dave's, drinking Val under the table. Or was it the other way around? Well, whoever it was that drunk who under the table, I couldn't go home for 3 days. So I was the guy who got pissed with Val and hadn't gone home for 3 days until they met me.
Did she go home for those 3 days?
When I first met you, Mike, Val took me upstairs and said, "This is Mike. He's been drinking whiskey and vodka